Hi everyone! So I try not to just make really serious content, and I avoid the big subjects most of the time, but sometimes I think it's important to talk about things, and sometimes I get a thought in my head that just won't go away until I've either written it down or made a video about it, and today is one of those days. You see, once upon a time I used to refer to myself as patriotic, and all that meant to me was that I was proud of where I came from. I am 3/4 British and 1/4 Greek Cypriot, and I was proud of that heritage. I chuckled at all the memes about how British people just love to queue, and I laughed at the jokes about how bad our weather is and how we just adore to drink lots of cups of tea. You know, it was all very jolly. But the problem is, then the word patriotic started being used by a kind of person who didn't have quite such an innocent view of what that word really meant. Keep Britain for the British. We don't want no foreigners coming over here with their different religion and their different language, different looks to us, different food. We don't get no benefit off immigrants. Anyway, excuse me, I'm off for a vindaloo. Now, before anyone starts leaving me angry messages in the comments, of course I am more than aware that not everybody who describes themselves as patriotic is also a massive racist. Obviously. It's just that if you flip that on its head, you will find very few racists who don't refer to themselves as merely being patriotic. And of course there is a huge argument for reclaiming that word back from those people. Lots of other groups have done it with other words after all, but for me, unfortunately, and I do mean unfortunately, that word has now got really strong negative connotations attached to it. Especially as a no-deal Brexit looks increasingly likely. Yeah, well I hope we get no deal. We don't need no help from no foreigners. We used to have an empire. Besides, there's not a huge amount to be proud of for us in the UK right now. I mean, we have an entirely incompetent government who are led by a muppet who's famous for once hiding in a fridge. If you're not from the UK, I'm not joking. Boris hid in a fridge. We have the highest COVID death toll in the whole of Europe, and in spite of that, we have adverts on our televisions at the moment telling us to get back down the pub. Yay, Britain! But beyond all of that, I did realise a while back that actually where you're born is something you have very little choice in. It's literally just fate. And whilst you can come to love the place that you live or the place that you're from, and there's nothing wrong with being proud of it and loving that place, for me personally, I'm just not going to get all misty-eyed over an accident of birth. It doesn't mean that I don't have some sense of patriotism or some sense of pride in where I'm from, and I can be proud of that without having to wave a flag and be like, yes, I'm deeply patriotic. Wah. Now make me tea, Jeeves. Where's my flag? These days, instead of just being blindly proud of an accident of birth, and again, I'm not having a pop at people who are patriotic, it's just my opinion, I prefer to try and take pride in the community that I belong to, and I try to be somebody who, in that community, takes steps towards making it a kinder, greener, more tolerant place, because that's something I do have control over, and it's something that I can be proud of doing. It's just some thoughts that were going around my head today, and I decided, do you know what? I'm gonna make a video about it because that's what I do. Do you refer to yourself as patriotic? Do you see any connotations around it? And maybe is that the reason you don't refer to yourself as patriotic? Let me know in the comments. Please don't be mean. Like I said, this is just my opinion. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. You can click on my floaty head if you would like to subscribe, and last week's video is over here. I'm going to go and lie down because I got a new mattress recently and my bed is now my favourite place in the world. I will talk to you next week. Bye!